Why is your back not growing? Why is it a lagging body part? Why, when you train it, can you not connect with the muscles within your back? That's what we're going to answer in today's video. I think it's fair to say, boys, in 2024, us as human beings, we cannot help but judge a book by its cover. Like, you may have noticed today that I have a fucking t-shirt on for this video. Don't know if any of you boys are into it. This is a Nike TN t-shirt. I'm quite a fan of Nike TN. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. But straight away when you see that, you judge the book by its cover of what type of person I may be. When you first interact with someone, you're probably sizing someone up to think, like, what type of guy is this? Am I above him? Am I below him? Is he going to flat pack me? Could I flat pack him? And that's probably what it all comes down to. Quite a primal level. Obviously, this is like quite subconscious, and you're thinking, how does this individual carry himself? That's something you're actually looking at, and subconsciously you will look at certain features on his physique. You will think, how is he stood? How is he holding up his actual frame, his fucking bag of bones? Are his shoulders the most forward point and his upper back is curved and arched? Or does he stand erect with his chest upright and proud? And that will give you a lot of information on one specific human being. Now, obviously, if you're doing this to somebody, they're doing exactly that to you, because we are human beings and humans are like humans, people are like people. Now, this is where the problem starts, because, boys, if you do stand with your shoulders slightly round forward and not bolt upright, I can guarantee you that is because you have poor posture. Why do you have poor posture? Well, it's, to be honest, not even really your fault that you've got poor posture, because in the modern day, when we're on our phones, how do we go on our phones? We're like that. We look down at it from the screen, so we get that curvature, we get that arch. Does no one ever hold their phone up to their eye line? Even though if sat down in it, would actually feels quite nice, to be fair. But when you walk around, you don't walk around like this with your fucking phone up in the hand. You just don't do it, do you? So there's a reason why we have like poor fucking posture, and it's to be honest something that we need to fix. How do we fix your posture? Well, to be honest, we build you a thick, fucking dense ass back, and we pay specific attention to the trap region, and to get a strong set of traps will really pull you upright and make your chest the most forward and proud point of your body, so you can mesomorph from being some soft, flaccid piece of flesh into some erectile, standing, firm man. But ultimately, we need to train our back properly. Now, for years, as you may can see from the image on the screen, I struggled to really connect with my back. Like, I would do the first set, the first exercise, and I'd be like, especially a rowing exercise, you may be able to relate to this. When I'm on a seated row machine, I can feel like my arms more than my back. And obviously, it's a back exercise. And by the time you do the second exercise, what happens to your forearms? They're fucking toast, aren't they? They're absolute toast. So you just cannot contract the working muscle. And if I got a lot of people to video and send me in their exercise of how they perform it, I would get a lot of crap and a lot of poorly executed movement and people not really feeling their back and their arms burning out first. And it is no wonder, because it kind of is a bit of a complicated beast to train. So this video, we're going to go through 4 movements. We're going to break them down, autistically go through how you should specifically execute them, so that when you go onto the gym floor, you can replay this if you need to, extract some coaching points and some notes, and you can execute these down to the point. Just drop the ego, boys. If you can't connect and feel the working muscle, just drop the load a little bit. Load will come after. If you can connect with the working muscle, that given number of plate that you've dropped to, that will get you an adaptation. Remember, it was never about the load we lifted. It weren't about the discs on the plate. It weren't about the numbers on the pin stack of the cable. It was about how do we look. The weights were the tool to enhance us to look better. It was never about the fucking digits on a scale. We don't actually care about those things. So if you can actually get good bang for your buck from a lower weight, use it, because you'll progress, and in 3 months' time, the weight will be back up to probably more than where you were doing, and you'll have a dense-ass fucking back. So we're going to get into the video, take you through how I managed to train my back. This is why I think you could listen to me, because I know a little bit about back training. Here's some evidence. Cool, nice back, mate. We're going to go through the movements now and break it down. So we'll start with not looking at photos of me, not looking at pictures of fucking chicks in my video. For fuck's sake, get out. We're going to start with a basic lat pull down. In fact, no, we're not. I'm going to start with a single arm pull down because it will be easier for me to give you the data first. We're going to start with a single arm. And I'm going to get my pen out because I fucking love this pen thing. When I discovered it, I was like, oh, my videos are getting done on WhatsApp now. So let me just wind this video back. Okay, so at this point, you've set up here. Your back starts here. Specifically the lats. This is specifically for the lats. This is a single arm lat pull down. Just to quickly look at the setup, cable stack here, one hand wrapped around it, bench facing here. The main aim is to work one side of the lat. The lat is here, so starts here, inserts onto the upper arm. So what are we going to do? We need to close the origin and the insertion points together. How are we going to do this? Well, you're not going to pull the load from your hands. Oh no, you're not. So you don't pull the load. Give me my pen back. You're not going to pull the load from here. As you perform the movement, I don't even want you to think about pulling. I want you to, the cue is to drag. I want you to picture dragging your elbow from here down towards the hip and get your fucking elbow into your back pocket. And also picture wrapping the lat around the back. Slowly come up, stop, keep the tension on, and then wrap it back around again. Let it stretch, 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 stretch. Pause, tension on, boom. Don't allow the shoulder to go further forward, because where's that tension going? Off the lat, onto the shoulder. Then when you pull that back down, you've got to realign it, re-engage it, all that good stuff. And that's not what we want to be doing. So the cue here is to drag the elbow into the back pocket. And if you've never done this exercise before, you will feel a contraction like fucking no other. So look forward to this exercise. Drive it with this form of intensity and you'll see some nice juicy gains. Exercise number 2. Now this is the one that is going to blow up your traps when done correctly. Most people, when they do this, will not feel it in their back. They'll feel it in their arms first. When you set this up, bench at a 45-degree angle. Put something so that the bench isn't going to go sliding across the room like a plate. Use straps so it takes your grip strength out of the equation. Now, make sure that your chest from here is onto the pad. And if anything, that is going to be the main point that you are fixed against the bench from. I know I'm supported all the way through, but if you said to me, tell me one place I can support my body from, it would be here first. You don't want to be pulling back from your chest when you're doing this movement. Now, when you perform the movement, remember our goal is to contract the upper back here. So I want you to think of it like this. You are going to pull the shoulders first, shoulders, and then drag the elbows back. And then as a result, the load and the hands will come back behind the body. Ready? Here we go. Drive back, squeeze. Slowly pull it out. At the bottom, there is still tension on here. I'm not floppy. I'm not flaccid, like those words we like to use. We are still keeping tension on. We've essentially pulled the fibers apart and they are still under load. If they were like guitar strings, you could strum all day on them. Again, drive the shoulders back first, then the elbows follow. It's very subtle and it is one fluid movement, but you initiate from the shoulders, then let the elbows drag back first. And this is where it gets tough, and this is where you drive that chest against the bench, allowing you to continue driving those elbows back. Squeeze, 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 and wrap it up there. And that is how you're going to use that movement to make a big fucking juicy set of traps. Okay, next exercise we're going to go on to is the lat pull down. People butcher this. They'll do a few things. Either lean really far back and then row it back towards them, or they'll cave their chest and their sternum in. If you cave your chest and your sternum and you start pulling, you ain't contracting your lats. It's just not happening. That sternum has to stay literally bolt rigid for the whole time you're doing it. So lock yourself in via the leg pads, keep the sternum up, keep the chest up, and the torso isn't going to move. Remember what we're lengthening and shortening here. The lat that started down here and inserted onto the upper arm. So again, you're going to think about dragging from the elbows, wrapping it back to the body. Ultimately, the tool will meet your chest at this point here and you won't be able to pull down anymore, which is okay. So drag down, squeeze. Slowly lift the load up, keep the tension on, don't allow it to come off. It will get hard. You will struggle to keep the chest up and drive the elbows at the same time. That's the purpose of it though. That's what we're trying to achieve. So if you need to drop the load so you can be within the rep range that you prescribed, which I reckon one set of around 8 to 12, two back off 12 to 15, that'll add plenty of volume into these sets here. But the same principle applies. The sternum's up, the elbows get dragged towards the hip. Nothing else needs to move. And you just fucking turn on the intensity as it gets harder towards the back end of the set. We're failing, but we maintain the chest. Always maintain the chest. If you have to lose the range, but don't maintain the chest. And your face will come off looking like this. Last exercise we're going to go through is the single arm row. Again, very good for attacking the lower portion of the lat specifically. And we're thinking now as we do the exercise, drag the elbow, wrap it around. Drag from the elbow, wrap the lat around the back, keep all this fixed, keep the chest upright, keep the tension on and not allow it to go onto the delt. Feet driven against the pad here to keep you fixed in. Drag, chest up, and wrap up the movement there. Boys, those subtle cues, if I had to summarize them quickly, what would it be? Sternum up. Bring the elbow downwards or backwards relative to where you're moving and initiate from the shoulder and then finish with the elbow. And if you literally implement just those 3 points, you will see a noticeable change in your physique and specifically connection with the working muscle. If you found this video useful, if you like the way I give coaching and feedback, this is what I'm doing for my guys in the Gorilla Platoon, getting them the physique transformations. Because boys, I can write you a diet plan, you can follow it, you lose body fat, no problem. But to be honest, the difference between having a fucking sick physique and a good physique is gym floor performance. Executing like this with correct tempo, range of motion and intensity in the right area. Put your effort and focus onto the right area, i.e. the working muscle that you're doing the exercise for. That's what's going to get you the fucking sick result. So there'll always be links in the description. If you want to see me on Insta, we're on there. And if you want to book a call and see if we are a good fit to work together, or if you think I'm a helmet and we're not, the link will be in the description below. If not, I'll see you tomorrow.